Hey there everybody, Kevin here from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today Alexa Skill. Today we're doing our first album review. Our album review today is on 12 Bloody Spies, the B-Side and Rarities album just released by Chevelle. Okay, so before we start, let me go through my methodology of how we started reviewing these. First, I woke up the day the album was released and I listened to the whole thing. Then, I waited a couple hours. Then, I listened to it again and that's when I started writing my review. I'll review each song, how it fits in the album, how it is on its own, and last but not least, I will then give the album as a whole a review from 0 to 10 because that's how we're doing it today. Now, if you're a Chevelle fan, don't think I'm being too easy or too lenient or too harsh or too heavy on this review because it is a B-Side and Rarities album. I treat each album I review like if it's its own album, like if it's a new album, a re-release, a B-Side Rarities, or a greatest hits. I'm going to review the whole thing and give you my thoughts on it. It doesn't matter. However, when the final review comes, I will bring that up and I will take that into consideration, so don't worry about it. Alright, so you ready for the review? And away we go! So this album was released on October 26, 2018. After listening to the first two singles, I was both pumped and hesitant to take a listen to this. So now when the whole thing came out, here's what we got. The first song of the album was called A Miracle, and I thought it was placed real well at the beginning of the album. This song is a little more melodic than what we're used to from Chevelle. However, I do like the fact that it was put at the beginning of the album because it gives you a more melodic feel and potentially what this album could really be about. Sleepwalk Enemies was the first single released off of 12 Bloody Spies, and when I first heard it, let me just say this, I was blown away by this song. This song starts out with that classic Chevelle sound where it just starts to build up at the start, it builds up, builds up, builds up, and then when the chorus hits, it hits hard, and it makes one hell of a song. You are hooked right then and there, you just keep wanting to listen to it. Sleepwalk Enemies is easily my favorite song off of the record. It's the one that stuck with me the most, and if you listen to it, trust me, you'll love it just as much as I did. One reason why I really know this song hits hard and hits home is because I thought about putting on my workout playlist right after I heard it. Now, usually when it comes to my workout playlist, I'm a huge stickler with what I put on there, and for Sleepwalking Enemies, it took me about 3 days. 3 days! And I thought, this song hits hard, this song kicks ass, I love it, let's put it on there. Let's go. So, it's been on there ever since, and I ain't looking back, guys. Trust me, I ain't looking back. Indifference to Earth was the third song off the album, was the second single, and it came nowhere, and I mean nowhere near close to what Sleepwalking Enemies was. When I first heard Indifference to Earth, it just kept building and building and building. I was waiting for that huge hit to come like Sleepwalking Enemies had. Just kept building and building and building. I was getting anticipated, and it just never came. Honestly, because of that just build, and really never going anywhere with it, I don't think this song warrants repeat listening, and I don't plan on really listening to it anytime soon. Chevelle put out an acoustic version for their song Sleep Apnea, and while I really like the song Sleep Apnea, I was really stoked to listen to the acoustic version of it. But when I listened to it, I kind of wish they would have gone a little bit of a different route with it, kept it the same, but bring a little bit of a different vibe because you're using acoustic instruments. You can really change the meaning and the vibe of the song for the listener between the original and the acoustic. In comparison, one thing I wish they would have done was similar to what Rise Against did with the Ghost Note symphonies this year, where they brought an acoustic sound to a lot of their songs, but they really changed up the melodies to them and changed up how they sounded, so you got a completely different feel from what the original was to what the acoustic version is. If you're really looking to listen and to hear exactly what I mean, check out Rise Against, check out Voices Off Camera off of RPM, check out the original version from 2003, and then check out the Ghost Note Symphonies version from 2018, and you're going to hear the difference and you're going to know exactly what I mean by this. Chevelle also released an unreleased version of The Clincher, probably a more previous recording that they did before the final version was put out there. And let me tell you something, I am a huge fan of doing this. I'm a huge fan of letting people know exactly what you were thinking and what your earlier version sounded like. I love hearing these versions because you get to see exactly and hear exactly where the band was when they first either created the song or were halfway through it and thought maybe we're going to go in a different direction. You can really see their development of their song. You can see how they write, how they edit. It's really a cool process. One reason I really like this is because when I was at Camp Mars 2018 this year, we got a chance to listen to an unreleased version of Rescue Me by 30 Seconds to Mars from way earlier, because apparently that song had been around for a while that they were playing with. They never released it until their album America earlier in 2018. being able to listen to where the song was at one point and seeing how it progressed from that point to where it ultimately ended is one of the cool things in music, and I wish more bands would do something like that with their B-side albums, or their just extra albums that they come out with. And I think Chevelle really hit the nail on the head with this one. I'm a huge fan of the move. I like the unreleased version. I also like the song in its original version, and applause. Applause to Chevelle for it. Fizzpig comes in about halfway through the album, and it really reminds me a lot of Hats Off to the Bull, but without the chorus. I can see why Chevelle left Fizzpig off of the Hats Off to the Bull record because of its similarity to the titular song. However, I think it still would have made a nice addition on it, maybe as the B-side track to it. Glimpse of the Con is very similar to what you want to hear off of a B-side, or expect to hear off of a B-side album. This is because it has a lot less intense sound, a little less structured sound than what a normal Chevelle song would sound like, so it fits in this area perfectly. Now, it would be nice to see maybe they include a song like this on a different album to try and bring in a larger audience. They might do it, they might not, I don't know. For me personally, I don't think it would be that great of an idea because I like the hard sound. However, if they're looking to do something like that, this song and a type of song like this could be included maybe on their next full release album. Now, Glimpse of the Con is quite a long song. It's 6 minutes, and while some people think that's long, just because of the fact that when I release this video, Bohemian Rhapsody, the biopic about Queen, is going to come out within the next couple of days, so I really wanted to make this reference. If you think 6 minutes is long, as they have in the trailer, I pity your wife if you think 6 minutes is forever. Guys, I really wanted to make that reference, so yeah, thanks for sticking with me on that one. Indifference. It is not an indifferent song. I don't have any indifferent feelings about it. It is a forgettable song. I remember listening to the album the second time through. I didn't even recognize it. I didn't even remember that it was on there. Hard pass. Until You're Reformed is a primarily instrumental song, but when there are vocals in the song, they are just insanely repetitive, and I am not a huge fan of it. However, because I actually do enjoy the instrumental parts of it, I may be looking into including that in some of my videos. I gotta check on licensing for that, but that might be the only good takeaway from Until You're Reformed. The gist is a lot like Until You're Reformed, but its name actually fits with the gist. It's also instrumental, and it's a lot faster and a lot harder than Until You're Reformed. So basically, it's Until You're Reformed condensed into a couple of minutes. Not much there. Second last song of the album is Delivery, and while I think Delivery could have been included on Sci-Fi Crimes, I can easily understand why it wasn't. The song is a much more mellowed out version of a type of song I'd expect to hear off of Sci-Fi Crimes. However, I really don't think it fits in that album. I can see why they left it off and put it on a B-side album. Last song of the recording is Leto's Headache, and while it was on the deluxe or bonus version of Sci-Fi Crimes, I thought it was an interesting choice for a song. The song makes multiple references to multiple voices inside one's head and a reference to John Lennon as well. And taking a look at one of my favorite bands, 30 Seconds to Mars, especially in 2017 and 2018, Leto's Headache, could this potentially be a precursor of what the band was like, especially Jared Leto from 2017 and 2018? I don't know. It's up to you. Now it's time for my overall rating, and I give it a 5 out of 10. The album isn't inherently bad, but it's just not that inherently good either. It's rather indifferent. It's rather passé. It's really something that I think in the grand scheme of things, it is a B-side album, however, but I think it's going to be forgettable along the line down when you look at Chevelle's career. Now, don't get me wrong, I probably will listen to Sleepwalk Enemies at some point every 2 to 3 days when I'm at the gym because it's on my playlist and I love it. I will also probably revisit the clincher version that they have on the album consistently. However, outside of that, I don't think I'm really going to revisit this album a whole lot, if ever. One thing to remember is that this is a B-side and unreleased tracks album, so it doesn't necessarily have the power that a Hats Off to the Bull or a Vera Sarah would, or maybe not necessarily warrants the same kind of review as those albums would. However, I will review each album as a whole as if it were a brand new album with all new music, just because gotta stay consistent and they're releasing them to the public. We gotta be honest. Alright, that's it. Thanks for listening to the My Song of the Day, Rock 2000 Today Alexa Skill album review of 12 Bloody Spies by Chevelle. In about 2 weeks, we'll do another one of these when we take a look at Muse's new release, Simulation Theory. If you want to stay up to date with us, know when we release videos, and, just watch our videos, hit the subscribe button below and make sure you're subscribed to us. If you want to check out the My Song a Day Rock 2000 a Day Alexa Skill Facebook page, Twitter page, or Instagram page, I've got links in the description below that you can check out. Click on them, it'll take you right to our home pages. Most importantly, if you have an Amazon Echo, Amazon Alexa, and you want to listen to a new rock song from the year 2000 to today every single day, subscribe to our Alexa Skill. I've got the link again in the description below. That's our most important one, so if you guys want to take a look at that one and enjoy something new every day, I got you covered. Alright everybody, that's it. Thank you for watching. This is Kevin from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today Alexa Skill signing off. And I'm going to say this. See ya!